Star Wars Celebration happened this past weekend. I want you to give me your top 3
Oh gosh.
news items from this
Mm.
thing. Because I mean, for me, I was like kind of tuning in and out,
Mm.
but I was like, I know Dave's gonna have at least a couple of things that he's pulling away that he's like super stoked about.
Yeah, that's a great prompt because there was many news items. I wasn't actually sure if it was worth checking in on Star Wars Celebration 2022, the first Star Wars celebration since the pandemic, just because I wasn't sure how much consequential news there would be, but there actually was a lot. A lot of it is more to be expected stuff we knew was coming out, release dates, trailers, things like that. Andor trailer out August 31st. The show's coming out. Mando season 3, February 2023. Bad Batch Season 2, Fall 2022, Ahsoka 2023. Things we knew or at least had those ideas about.
Mm-hmm.
Andor trailer looks great. And Andor going up against She-Hulk, House of the Dragon, and Lord of the Rings from Amazon. That's going to be a wild few weeks.
August is gonna be crazy. August into September.
Oh yeah,
nuts.
But yeah. So in terms of like things that are more surprises or newsy, I would say the Tales of the Jedi anthology animated series that got announced coming out this year, late 2022, on Disney Plus, of course. Basically, a continuation of the Clone Wars animation style, but a two-part anthology series reflecting on prequel Jedi based around Ahsoka and Dooku are these two parts, but it sounds like we're going to hear Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn in there, and obviously the Dooku side of things, and plenty of other names were thrown about. So that sounds cool. Similar to, I guess, Star Wars Visions from last year. There was no announcement of more Star Wars Visions, which I was definitely looking forward to hearing about. But regardless, an anthology series like this is kind of in the same vein. And this would be of the canon variety, of course. But I think just kind of exciting to kind of get more. I feel like for Clone Wars fans, this is of particular delight, just because it's kind of feel like more Clone Wars because it's kind of more prequel era stuff on TV. So hard to be mad about it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some really exciting news. I wasn't actually as tuned in to the ones that you pointed out, so I'm glad that we have some different ones here. I think the number one for me, you mentioned Andor. That trailer looks sick. Go check that out. But Skeleton Crew, this
Yep.
Stand By Me in space type idea, especially because Skeleton Crew was the name of a Stephen King book that I think parts of Stand By Me were based off of, as well as another King novella. So it'd be pretty cool if they're gonna basically like adapt something along those lines for space. And Jude Law is attached to this.
Right. This is the series that John Watts is involved in, basically leaving the Marvel Fantastic Four reboot in favor of this. So still staying in the Disney family at the end of the day. But yeah, Jude Law, who, come to think of it, kind of has a trooper look to him if you think about it. We'll see. And yeah, based around kids, like Space Goonies is how I always heard it being described. So we don't really know too much more about that beyond it's taking place during the Mandalorian time frame. It's basically all we know. But yeah, sounds fun. Sounds great, and sounds like something. Even though it's of a familiar time frame, something that is Skywalker independent, which is of course welcome, and we're expecting to have more things along those lines in the future, of course. Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to that. And the announcement kind of came out of nowhere. Like I wasn't expecting this to be a show they threw out there. But yeah, pretty cool.
Are you thinking that Jude Law is going to be some sort of big bad in this series?
Yeah.
I've heard Thrawn thrown out there, and I'm like, is Jude
no.
Law's Thrawn really?
They're not burning Thrawn in this show. Thrawn's in the Ahsoka show. And I think the rumor is he's being played by Mads Mikkelsen's brother, Lars Mikkelsen, who voiced him in Rebels. So, yeah, no, I think he'll probably be a new character or a tangential character or something. But that's probably a show that's a bit more smaller stakes, too, which is honestly no problem. It'll probably be a lot of fun, but also of a kind of a different tone, perhaps, which sounds cool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to be thrown, although I've heard some ringer personalities who are very much hoping so. Shout out Mallory Rubin.
Yeah.
Another piece of news that came out of Star Wars Celebration this weekend I thought was pretty interesting, at least like in terms of the Mandalorian and where it's going. They didn't
Mm.
really. Basically, John Favreau said he has an idea of where the show is going to eventually land, like
Mm.
where it ends, and that actually gives me a lot of hope for the show because I think with something as beloved as the Mandalorian, and also something that uh, it's going on season 3. It just had season 2.5 pass by and was
Right.
really the only redeeming part about Boba Fett. Go check out that review. Um, it needs to continue to be good. I need it to continue to be good, and I feel
Mm.
a lot better knowing that they have an end point to this because that makes me feel like they, even if they don't have all the story written at this point, they at least have an idea of where it's going to eventually go. So that made me feel pretty optimistic. Favreau's got
Mm.
his finger on the pulse. Trust in him and Filoni
Yeah.
for sure.
Totally. Having a plan with Star Wars is a great feeling to have after how the
Yeah.
movies ended up being for the most part. Another thing I'm really excited to check out, which seems to be pretty far in the future, or at least not till next year, is the Young Jedi Adventures series they announced, which is set in the High Republic era. So it's like 100-year range before Phantom Menace. So well in the past as far as the Star Wars movies are concerned. And this is centered around some younglings at the Jedi Temple. We're going to see like Jedi Academy stuff, like little Jedi, little Jedi kids going through it, getting the training on. And of course, all the other things apply. The Jedi in their prime, the Republic in its prime. A lot of things that are very exciting to fans of the Knights of the Old Republic time and the Old Republic setting and stuff like that. I think that has great potential and
Yeah.
perhaps would tie into the Leslie Headland Acolyte series that we didn't hear anything new about, but of course is also set in the High Republic time. And yeah, that just sounds really exciting. And I
Yeah.
think just being in that time frame, which is unexplored on the screen to this point, is of course very appealing.
Absolutely. That one's a great one. I wanted to ask what your temperature was on the new video game that was announced.
Right. So Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, the 2019 game from Respawn. We got just a CGI trailer, no gameplay, and that game is coming out early 2023 is the expectation. So a little over 3 years since the last game, which was December 2019. Very exciting because that first game was fucking awesome, and honestly, I would not be shocked to see the main protagonist of those games, Cal Kestis, played by Cameron Monaghan. I would not be surprised if we saw Cal Kestis, who is a survivor of Order 66 himself as a Jedi Padawan. Would not be shocked if we see him eventually cross over onto the screen in some way as well. So those games are, in all likelihood, probably priming us for more of him. And if you're watching Obi-Wan, which why wouldn't you not be? You've been exposed to the Inquisitors, who also have their run-ins with Cal Kestis in the games. So, yeah, that trailer definitely presented a lot of questions about who we're seeing, particularly that character in the back to tank. A lot of questions, a lot of theorizing right now. But regardless, I'm really excited because not only was the game's story really great, but I mean, it's amazing gameplay. It's my second favorite Star Wars game ever. So we're getting a
Wow.
sequel to it. That's great.
What is number one for you?
Knights of the Old Republic, of
Yeah.
course. So, it's my favorite Star Wars game since, 2003. So it's been a long time.
High praise, high praise. Anything else from Star Wars Celebration, or are you ready to move forward?
I would just say it's notable that we didn't get any Star Wars movie news. That was something definitely up in the air. Um, we had a lot of Vanity Fair coverage around Kenobi, which is tradition around the Star Wars movies. Of course, we had Annie Leibovitz sharing more of those awesome photographs she's done across Star Wars releases. They talked about the movies in that, Kathleen Kennedy did, and I guess it was a bit noteworthy that she still said that the X-Wing movie with Patty Jenkins is still happening. And she also said that Ryan Johnson's trilogy is still happening. It's just way down the line because he's prioritizing Knives Out with Netflix. So I was like, okay, that's something. That's something at least. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like the Taika Waititi Star Wars movie has to shoot this year to make that December 2023 date they picked. So I don't think that's even happening. So the movies
Yeah,
are
no.
still a ways out, but like we just said before, get your plan. No need to rush. The TV and Disney Plus are keeping us afloat more than enough right now. So
Yeah,
no
totally
worries.
agree. It's all about the small screen right now.